All right, folks. Poptoberfest might be behind us. Aaron is back in the house. We're going to have some fun time today talking about some movies with you guys. And yeah, this is a good one. It's going to be a fun little double feature we kind of threw together, Baron. Thanks for doing this, my friend. How you doing? What's going on?
Oh, I'm doing fine, and yeah, two good selections. One I have seen before, one I have not. But both very enjoyable and fun to watch. The long suffering I had a good time.
That's good. We're going to start with the one that we both actually enjoy. I don't
Hmm.
think either one of us had seen it in a little while, so we thought, oh, we'll bump that to the top. Yeah,
Hmm.
Bubba Ho-Tep was free over on Tubi. And I own a copy, but it was still kind of fun to be able to just kind of throw it on and enjoy it a little bit. And
How could I have gone from the king of rock and roll to this?
Jack, President Kennedy was a white man.
They dyed me this color. What we have yet shadier as is an Egyptian soul sucker.
Some kind of Bubba Ho-Tep.
A mummy.
All right, man, let's go.
kind of a
Hmm.
crazy movie. I never saw this in theaters, Baron. Did you? Is this something that was on your
No,
radar screen back in the day?
no, it wasn't really, honestly. And so the first time we saw it streaming on one of the streaming services. Yeah, because the wife and I used to do on Fridays before things really got screwy. We have our quote unquote bad movie night, which wasn't necessarily bad movies. It's just what looks unique, what's interesting, and whatnot. Something that's quirky out of the way, not the typical. Some were bad, laughable bad, and then things were like this, Bubba Hotep, which were weird but fun. You know what I mean?
It's a good strategy. So it's an Elvis story. Bruce Campbell plays Elvis, who we
Hmm.
find is dilapidated and aging in his nursing home. And through a series of flashbacks, here's Bruce being Bruce.
Hmm.
It's great, huh? Look at Bruce being Bruce. Through a bunch of flashbacks, he tells the tale of he's had enough, man. Just wanted a break. Had
Hmm.
an agreement with an Elvis impersonator to kind of swap, and he'd go back to just being who he wanted to be.
Hmm.
And reality is through a couple of sequence of events that are in the movie explain, how that didn't get undone, how he couldn't go back on that deal, and now he's kind of
Hmm.
like he's injured and hurt. And he's just kind of rotting in a nursing home. It's kind of like there, laying in bed and not able to do a whole lot.
Yeah.
And then you end up taking all of that pretext and adding the fact that a soul sucking mummy shows up and just starts consuming seniors at the nursing home.
Hmm.
And he partners with we'll just say an alternate version of JFK. So crazy is definitely an understatement for this movie, indeed, right, my friend?
Oh, definitely. I mean, that was one of the reasons why we picked it for that night. It's like you got to be kidding me with the synopsis. The late great Ossie Davis playing, JFK, and of course Bruce Campbell. He never, he's a treasure. He's a treasure. Yeah, so it's like okay, that's what drew us to this, and of course, the Bubba Hotep name. But yeah, it's just so wild, and how Ossie Davis did such a great job playing him.
Yeah, Bruce Campbell kind of disappears under the makeup. This is the young Elvis version,
Hmm.
but in the old Elvis version, he was in makeup for almost 3 hours
Oh,
to
really?
get
Wow.
into character. So yeah, he'd be there before everybody else, and was really committed to. Here's a kind of a silhouette first look at the old mummy, kind of
Hmm.
preying on those folks in the nursing home. Here's a great shot of Ozzy.
Yep.
So yeah, he's got his theory that he was not killed. He does have a head wound and an interesting scar that makes old Elvis wonder what's going on here. And they say he died in black, and it
Hmm.
it, it is sort of reminds me of Tarantino alternate universe stuff with like Inglorious Bastards or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood type stuff. Like it's these
Hmm.
just odd. It's so strange and odd, yet you're just all like you said, just having a fun time with it.
Yeah, definitely. It's like it almost starts becoming believable, and the big thing is Bruce Campbell really Elvis, or is this a delusion, or whatnot? It still kind of leaves that in the air for you. but no matter what, he believes he's Elvis. No, whether it is him or not, just like Ozzy believes he's Jack Kennedy.
Yeah, I think the Elvis story actually kind of like plays out in a way that kind of makes you believe it. He has an explanation on, the other guy's the one that OD'd. I didn't OD. And then
Hmm.
there was an accident and an explosion. So all the paperwork and contract stuff, I don't have any access to any of that money. I'm kind of trapped here.
Right.
And you have just the brilliance of Bruce Campbell pulling all this off. And here's
Hmm.
a young lady that's there to get her. The dad was the roommate who passes away early in the movie. So you
Hmm.
have sort of a great way to understand this version of Elvis. You kind of get all these little comments, little innuendos with how he interacts with the nurse and how he interacts with this young girl. So again, this
Hmm.
is the lost art of storytelling, right, Baron? Because we can't seem to get this out
Yeah.
of modern cinema. It's like instead of having just like such blatant exposition, you have these interactions with these characters, and people will go, well, "Why were they in this movie? We didn't need." Yeah, we did because it's what explains to you who this character is.
Right. Exactly. I mean, she doesn't deliver much except for that reason there. I mean, and of course, she comes across kind of unlikable with the way she's treating things. That's important. One small character coming in, and that helps push what the story is, explain what the story is, and then their job is done. Why bring someone around and keep bringing back because it's forced? They did their job and gone. And that's part of that journey. The hero's going along, meet somebody, have that conversation, then the hero continues on. We never see that person again. And
But she has a purpose, and it works with the
mhm,
story. It works with so she's so
mhm,
she has two things. One, she kind of threads together life at the nursing home through the next generation. So there's really no one that's going to care about your crap. Is part of the
mhm,
take home, right? Because all this stuff, he has like a medal from the war just thrown in the trash, and he's like, "Hey, can I
yeah,
have that?" And then
mhm,
she's basically like, "Are you really Elvis?" kind of thing. And then that's when you get the flashback in him explaining the entire thing
mhm,
that I talked about earlier with the Elvis impersonator.
mhm,
Really done well. It kind of just gives you everything. Here's the explosion that I mentioned briefly. And here's her and the nurse kind of having a little bit of a laugh. And we're like, oh, yeah, sure you are, whatever. But at the same
mhm,
time, we get to home and the audience are like, okay, duly noted. Could be
yeah,
crazy guy thinking he's Elvis, or could be an Elvis story. Let's just see how this plays out and have some fun with it for sure.
right, yeah, and done so well. I mean, it does not answer any questions. It makes more questions, but it keeps you intrigued. It's like, okay, now okay, what are we going to see as we go along? Yeah, and yeah, he got the Purple Heart. He got that one picture because he liked the guy, and and he kind of chides her a little bit for not ever seeing him. But it's like, how can you be so cold and cruel not to see your father, or you just dump him here and then just come back to gather what you think is important. It's like, yeah, I think it's a little bit of a commentary also on society. This was like 2000, but you can still have it today. I think you can have that throughout all the ages as well.
Yeah, I don't feel like it even feels like a 20-year-old movie. It's over 20 years old, so
Yeah,
2002, so 23 years. It doesn't
yeah,
really feel like it is old because it doesn't feel really that dated. The
no,
effects are practical with the mummy
hmm,
and just the adventure. This is Elvis getting one of his first clues on the mummy. They're going on like, what is the deal? What are we doing? It's a soul sucker. So they give you enough of a
hmm,
explanation so you at home can figure out what's going on and can follow along with everything. So let me pull those photos up for everybody follow along with this. So yeah, Elvis, he finds hieroglyphics in the bathroom. They interpret them. Do the Soul Sucker book that the old JFK guy has,
hmm,
and they're just kind of going through unpacking all this with this guy. Just and here's the effects. And actually, this shot in the light where they trying to light the dark scene otherwise is
hmm,
actually like about as worse as it gets. That's how good the makeup and stuff was. Like the makeup and stuff's
yeah,
done really good. Like it's very, very solid.
yeah,
I think obviously Bruce Campbell disappears in the makeup that he's in, and I
hmm,
think for a practical mummy shot like this, it's really, really quite good, and it works very well. So
yeah,
yeah, that's kind of the adventure of the movie. We have this just bizarre take on things, and this is kind of one of the more. And one of the reasons I wanted to talk to Barrett about it was because I'm like, it's a hard movie to review and analyze and discuss because
mhm,
it's just so strange, and yet it also works.
is the film a drama? Is it a comedy? Or is it horror? Sometimes I'd fill out these festival applications and I'd ponder that for an hour, not knowing which box to check.
It's a redemptive Elvis mummy picture.
I mean, I know we talked about surrealistic films before, but this is surrealistic along with everything else. And it's just, okay, just sit back and listen to the story. And then at the end, you try to figure out everything that was going on. Who it was, who really who, and what you got Bubba Ho-Tep, and he's walking around with like a cowboy hat type of thing with a feather in it. It's just it's
Yeah.
just a mishmash of things, but it works. It's like stone soup. Throw that stone in there, and then everyone brings something to it. And unlike other times, it actually comes out to be a very delicious stew. This is that film. Here's this idea. Okay, what can we do about it?
Yeah, I'm just going to throw out adjectives. And you tell me where I'm wrong. Kind of
Okay.
made a note of some thoughts. I was like, how do I describe this movie? It's kind of absurd, but it's
Yeah.
also clever. It's
hmm
very clever.
Yeah.
I think that it does have some silly moments, and it does feel like it can follow into like some of the horror movie tropes a little bit.
hmm
But at the same time, it felt grounded because of the fate of Elvis and how it kind of. In other words, it wasn't as though you have these two senior citizens fading off against this creature and everybody's going to be unscathed, like a Final Destination urban legend kind of movie,
Right.
which tries to push that envelope at least a little bit,
hmm
and completely opposite to like slasher movies where like the teen virgin is the one that's going to survive. So all the tropes are kind of out the window. He kind of leans into the fact that all bets are off. These two dudes are going to, lack of a better term, these two crazy or bizarre people. Maybe they're wacky. That's another word I thought I wrote down was wacky.
hmm
And they save the universe kind of thing, or they save they save senior citizens who keep getting picked off because nobody cares about them, which is the
Right.
other point to the young girl in the early part of the movie. It's like, oh, it also kind of sets up, hey, listen, society is kind of forgotten about those in nursing homes.
hmm Yeah. I mean, you see the nursing home director and how he acts to the whole thing, even to the degree of the nurse. But there seemed to be a bit of a warm relationship between Elvis and the nurse. Uh, the banter that they had back and forth, and of course, when Elvis has one of his problems, all of a sudden seem to reverse itself and surprises her. I don't want to get into too much detail there, but yeah, and the interaction so naturally. I mean, you're listening to these people. It's like, my God, you guys are crazy, but this is natural. It's not like over the top. It's not how they like to you know have people who are not quite there acting like a bunch of maniacs. They're calm. They are thoughtful. They're coming up with plans. So for two crazy people, supposedly, they seem rather grounded, and that's just so entertaining.
100%. And I really, like I said, I just was going to throw a bunch of adjectives against the wall to try to describe it. Just strange. Man, if
hmm
you've seen Army of Darkness and you thought that was a little out there, you've seen nothing yet. Right? If you've seen Shaun of the Dead and you thought, oh, this is a little zany, a little silly, kind of over the top, yeah, you've saw nothing yet. Like this
Right.
movie is sort of like an amalgam of all that and then some. And yet, like I said, at the same time, Bruce Campbell's brilliant. The
hmm
director knows, the writer knows the perfect balance of uh, how to manage kind of all that to make it work. And then we get
hmm
to before we get to that, like I said, that crazy climax where we end up with stuff. And I didn't want
No.
to ruin all the jokes and all the gags, like some of what Barron's is alluding to, but just there are so many things that are clever.
hmm
His narration to the camera is phenomenal,
Oh yeah,
and yeah, it's a really underrated movie, very very underrated movie. So
extremely.
I'll go first, just because I don't even know how to. I wanted to throw it out there because I just think it's a movie that most people, everybody I know, and I mean everybody I've ever talked to, has
hmm
only had positive things to say about this movie, and almost everybody has a response of, "Man, when's the last time I watched that movie?" So it's a movie that everybody enjoys. They just don't watch very often.
Right.
So I'm going to lean into a 3.5 out of 5, and I'm actually just leaning that way because of the kind of, there is a certain element of silliness and wackiness that kind of keeps it around there. But
Mhm.
if you like it more than that, I like totally get it. If
Oh
you
yeah.
hate this movie, I don't kind of get you. I don't quite understand how you can't let pure entertainment just be pure entertainment
Hmm.
for its sake. I think everything about it is it takes seriously everything it's also trying to do, which is another thing. Like I don't have a wink, wink, nod, nod. I just oh yeah, they're serious. It's just a
Yeah.
uber low budget, crazy little horror fantasy type thing about Elvis and a mummy. Who knew?
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, and
but
Jack
you,
Kennedy.
Baron.
Well,
Yeah, JFK.
I'm going to rate. Yeah, I'm going to rate it a little higher. I'm going to go popcorn buckets because it's just the interplay between Ossie Davis and Bruce Campbell. Their great acting performance. By the way, just to let you know, Ossie Davis was made an honorary Norwegian at North Coast Fest in North Dakota. So he's one of our guys now. But
Wow.
yeah. He would go up there quite a bit for entertainment and all that, and they made him honorary Norwegian because of just the rapport that he had with everybody. So, but and of course, like I said, he was always a great actor. Um, yeah, I love I suppose one of the silly bits that I really enjoyed was some of the subtitles when
Hmm.
that were going back and forth. It's like, oh, now that's creative. There was just so much creativity in this film, and it's not an action film. It's not where people are, like like old Elvis with Walker and Ossie Davis and Jack Kennedy in a wheelchair. Like they're able to run down hallways and chase down things or be chased down. So that was so refreshing. It's more in the sense of the suspense, the build up, the tension along with
Hmm.
it. So kind of getting back to some of the roots of the older horror films where even though we do see Bubba Ho-Tep, he's still a figure in the background, and he's that ominous shadow over everybody. And if there was any little bits of silliness that might have been getting a little carried away, and in some ways, I just kind of look at it as like, yeah, I can see a little bit of that being realistic in there. Try to place yourself in there. The ending, no, honestly, the ending kind of it was open because I'm not going to give any spoilers away on that one. But uh, does he or doesn't he? But yeah, it's just you sit down and the film just flies by, at a good pace. You're not bored. You're intrigued, and I think every time you watch it, you're trying to find a little more out of it to try to get some answers to who these clowns really are. Is that really Elvis or is it Sebastian Half? And this guy really believes he's Jack Kenny, but who was he really? Why does he have that scar? Why does he believe he's JFK? Yeah, it's surrealism at its finest. We need more films like this, and the storytelling is excellent. And like we said earlier, just bringing that one girl in just for that quick scene to establish things and gone. It's like they could have gone and overdo it. All of a sudden she's there and she's helping battle like the typical tropes it would have, right? But no, she's there, does her business, and gone. I love that. We need more of that too. That's a great one for a cameo for somebody to come in that might be a name actor or actress, and just to drop that and then go. And we used to have some of that. Yeah, that's why I give that the four popcorn, a little bit higher than yours, because it's just pure entertaining. And the long suffering loved this film. She loved it the first time. She didn't know how she would feel about it the second time, and she loved it even more. And she was laughing and having a good time when you're supposed to laugh, and uh, yeah, you're gonna get laughs at it. There's humor, and the humor's natural. It's not forced. It's not toilet. Well, yeah, there's some toilet humor, but it's believable toilet humor. So it's not like gregarious, like we get something like in American Pie or Dumb or Dumber. You know, uh, it just you can see this literally happening, even though it's so fanciful. So I just love this film. It's good. If you haven't seen it, folks, you got to see it. You really do. On Tubi
Yeah, it is
for now.
definitely like I said. Yeah, it's one of those. I still think that. Don't know who hates this movie. I don't know who doesn't like this movie. It's just super solid goofiness and fun with just these sort of like very kind of like soft pedaling
Hmm.
serious issues in and around this crazy story. Because at the end of the day, it's a lot more about too, like what have we done when we left our seniors behind, that kind of thing. So
Right.
How could I have gone from the king of rock and roll to this?
Jack, President Kennedy was a white man.
They dyed me this color. What we have yet, Shady Rest, is an Egyptian soul sucker.
Some kind of Bubba Ho-Tep.
A mummy.
All right, man, let's go.
yeah. And on that same note, I thought, well, I'm going to try to see if I can get Baron to watch something that I had just found. So
Hmm.
pretty rare that I jump into something that is so soon from Talk Horror, something I haven't seen. But we did Tucker and Dale versus Evil, and Ironcaster gets all the credit for introducing me to this movie. And I said, well, it's on there. It's free. We better jump on it again. I'd watched it again.
They're chainsaw wielding, wood chipping, grave digging. Good guys?
Officer, do we look like a couple of psycho killers to you?
Tucker and Dale versus Evil, Monday on Horror.
It's 2010. Completely oblivious to this movie. It has kind of a silly, cheesy, cheeky promotion material. So it wasn't like it was. It just looks like B movie or worse slop. So if I had ever seen this advertised, it wouldn't have been on my radar screen.
Right.
And for some reason, he recommended it, and I go, oh, I don't think anybody hates this movie. We'll give it a go. We put it on the list, and it didn't get vetoed. And we watched it, had a good time. I said, I'm going to throw it Baron's way because he hadn't seen it. So,
Yeah,
Baron,
man.
my friend, you and Long Suffering threw this on. Kind of a nice little double feature in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah, it was. It's one of those where you kind of went from one extreme to the other, but it's a good bookend. Again, this is a bit surrealistic. It's definitely off the wall. Um, as I explained it, and when we were watching it with when I was watching with the long suffering, who loved the film, by the way, I said, this is a dark comedy of errors. This movie, and she likened it. Yeah, it's like Three's Company. I said, yeah, Three's Company. If it had more, if he had blood and guts, But
Mm.
really, she's right. A comedy of errors, where everything's a misunderstanding. Everything happens because of misunderstandings. That was such an entertaining factor of this film. You saw what was going to happen. You knew what was going to happen, but still, it didn't matter. It's like, oh yeah, yep, I can see that because you're not looking at it as a straight Friday the 13th part film where, let's face it, they really get tiring. Basically after the first one, you don't need to keep doing that same trope. This turns that trope upside down, and it's almost like a satire of those films,
Yeah.
Halloween
Yeah.
and such like that. But it carves its own niche. I like saying that word. It makes me sound intelligent. Niche.
Yeah. So Friday the 13th meets Final Destination
Hmm.
with like some scary movie and Shaun of the Dead type approaches to everything. And then
Hmm.
just lots of silliness that kind of plays because early on you just have these kids and they're running across the fact that they see these two hillbillies at the market and whatever,
Hmm.
and they're kind of spooked by them. They're kind of weird on how they say things. The one on the left there, Tucker's like, "Listen, Dad, it's okay. Go talk to the pretty girl. She's just a regular girl. What are you going to say?" And he comes across as even weirder and creepier.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
you kind of know that they're the kind of the star of the movie. But it
Mhm.
sets up a misunderstanding with the police officer as well. And they're just two dudes that got this old cabin in the woods vacation house, and these kids are going out to that general area, and you just don't really know how things are going to play out. And then we have our first sort of series of misunderstandings. So the first one involves old Tucker losing control of the chainsaw, hitting some bees, running with the bees with the chainsaw, which spooks the kid. Now, when that moment happens and we lose that kid, he basically spears himself. At this
Yeah.
point, like, okay, this movie is not what I expected to be going down. What was going through your guys' head?
Yeah, it's like watching that. Well, first of all, I want to go back to the fact that when Dale walked up to say hi to the girl, it didn't help the fact that he had a sigh in his hand. So I mean
Oh yeah,
that
yeah,
added
oh yeah,
that on there. But yeah, I mean, seeing that scene is like the chainsaw going through, and it's like then you look inside with the beast. Oh no! And then he's getting stung and screaming, running around. And it's just absolutely hysterical when they're running. The kid thinks he's being chased, and all of a sudden they're looking at each other because Tucker is out starting to outrun him, and the fact that he outran him, he didn't realize what happened to the kid. It's like
yep,
he's oblivious, and it's like, oh god, here we go. This is going to be a complete utter comedy of errors, and everything's a Chekhov's gun. If you saw something, even in the background, you knew it was going to come into play. It was,
yeah.
everything was obvious, but the genius behind it is the comedic how they wove the story.
Lots of misdirection, and
Hmm.
played for laughs. So like the kids are going to go skinny dipping,
Hmm.
and they're all there because they see the hillbillies, and the girl falls into the water. They see her, she hits her head, and they get her. So the other kids think it's like a kidnapping. Now
Hmm.
they're on the hunt for these two guys. Like I said, we get into one series of miscommunication after another, and
Hmm.
then whenever they decide to charge them, we get into possibly the most craziest, unforgettable moment ever, where the guy misses and falls face first into the wood chipper,
Hmm.
which is so absolutely insane. Like
Yeah.
because then they're trapped trying to figure out how to get the guy out of the wood chipper, which they don't succeed. Let's just say they have half a person, and at that
Hmm.
moment, the police are showing up. They're there holding, a leg, and yeah, these dang kids, they just kind of start showing up, killing themselves on our property, sheriff. Like, you're gonna believe that story, right? Like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh,
We have had a doozy of a day.
A real doozy.
It's like
this
a death
movie,
cult.
oh, it's just unchained. I was just having such a blast
Oh.
watch this movie, and I
Hmm.
thought, where have I been? This is a movie where I
Hmm.
was like, okay, it's like we talked about with Bubba Ho-Tep, where it's like
Hmm.
when you enjoy, maybe you haven't watched in a while. This is one of those movies that's going to be like that. I've got to figure out how to make sure that I bring it up enough. People are talking about it enough that
Yeah.
it kind of starts increasing the watch time for folks, if that makes sense.
Right. I mean, you were saying before about the B film. This is like a polished B film. I mean, obviously they're tapping into that energy as well. And like I said about the Chekhov's gun, it's like some of those scenes, including when he's running with the chainsaw and such. I see that wood chipper back there and go, okay, when is that going to come into play? And boom,
Hmm.
there it is. They think Dale is trying to dig basically an outhouse uh, trench, and the girl decides to help, and they're thinking that she's digging her own grave. He's
I
making her
know
dig her own
that
grave.
was still like they're so the satire of the dumb teenager trope was on. And here's the picture of with the sigh, like how ridiculous it
Yeah.
is.
You guys, going camping?
And it is funny because it's something that in the opening scene, and again, if you watch the movie more than once, because I watched it a second time immediately.
Hmm.
The list of groceries, we're in the grocery store, and they're talking all these different things out. And they talk about the brush clearing scythe, and you're like, okay, that's
Hmm.
fun. It made me laugh, and then of course when it shows up, I'm like, okay, so nothing's all out. By the time you get to the wood chipper, you're like, okay, anything and everything I've been seeing is potentially fair game for something else later on.
Hmm.
And the biggest and best callback is there's a wooden beam. Don't lean on the wooden
Hmm.
beam. I guess we need to fix that wooden beam. That happens not
Hmm.
it does they misdirect you not once but twice. Well, sorry, they
Yeah.
set it up,
Hmm.
they misdirect you, then they give you the home run, which this guy, what a death. Just an
Yeah.
absolute epic. "Oh, maybe he'll be fine. He's running around. He seems like he's okay." It's just like he
Yeah.
literally has these nails that have been driven right into the front of his skull and absolute chaos. And then, of course,
Long they are.
it creates more chaos with the kids and what happens next. Yeah, the antics are just off the chain in this movie, Baron.
Oh, they are, and the great thing, Dale and Tucker, they're just your good old boys. They have that. They're not simpletons, but they're simple, right? They're just living the good life like someone would in that area, and of course, maybe in some ways that's why they came across Creasy. He's like, "What's this going on here?" Which would
Yeah.
unnerve, I think, a bunch of those city boys. And just like you said, that scene, well, he's still moving, he must be okay. And they're always kind of looking for that uptick that, oh yeah, he's running, he should be okay. And then they keel over. Uh, but yeah, that's just it. They're meaning well. They are. They want to help. They try to leave a note saying that, hey, we have the girl, and because of how simple they are, it looks like a death, a threat type letter. It's like that you would get. I have your friend. Is how
Right.
it
Yeah. Yeah.
interprets.
Yeah. And I will admit, again, we're mocking Friday the 13th. We're mocking those type of movies because the
Yeah.
teens are absolutely retarded, assuming insane things. Like digging your own grave was the one. That was like, what the hell? Why would you think
Right.
anyone's digging like that? And they get their own because these two guys are the only two that are going to have a clue on how to survive and
Hmm.
navigate life and get through. When these people are oh, they're just fodder for the chaos that's going to ensue
Right.
over and over and over again. And the twist kind of leads us with the hot girl. Here's the hot girl, the early part of the
Yep.
movie, and then later. I will say that the twist is in a lot of ways the weakest part of the story because there's a lot of teases for it, a lot of setups for it. They kind of just
Hmm.
land in the right place to see newspapers on the wall, and the one teen boy turns out, he's actually the offspring of the hillbilly, and the whole story was told was a lie. So it all just kind of works out as a contrivance and makes the story kind of go. It's actually kind of the weaker and less interesting element of the movie. Them knocking them off like Final Destination style is way more fun in this movie.
Yeah.
I they don't they don't totally let go of it. Like when Dale throws the hatchet, he's even kind of surprised that he actually hits the rope and stuff. So yeah, they
Hmm.
kind of have a nice. It has like a Shaun of the Dead feel, if you will. It has
Right.
that sort of feel with playing fast and loose with fun and
Yeah.
doing it. So
I mean, it still falls through the trope. It's you have the cute young maiden, the one that has more smarts,
mhm.
surviving the whole thing. But the monsters turned out to be the other side, especially the one guy. He's treating hillbillies like they're a different race or species,
Yeah,
instead of just a bunch of good old boys. And then, of course, he's being told you're half hillbilly. It's like, no,
yeah.
it's like that's just it's like you. It's like
It was hysterical.
yeah, it was. It's like hillbilly's not a race. It's just a group of good old boys
Yeah.
that like to fish and drink beer, except for Dale.
Super fun movie,
Yeah.
super obscure. Like this is the most common promotion material, so it just feels like
Hmm.
cheesy, cheap B movie stuff. It
Right.
almost feels like a scary movie type of thing, and I guess maybe that's why I hadn't seen it, given it a chance. This was almost like too much information. I couldn't
Hmm.
stand that they did that as a promotion. Like, don't do that. That was terrible. So
Yeah.
delete that off your memory. It ruins the entire gag. But I love the fact that this pose that she does, which is almost that cliche from movie history with the hot girl was sticking her rear end out and hold her finger to it. You know,
Hmm.
I I think it's incredible. I thought this was just super fun, dark comedy satire.
Hmm.
I- It feels like I said we really haven't had much in the way of comedy and stuff since 2010. So this might be
Yeah.
in the running for some of the best stuff since then because there's just so few and far between over
Yeah.
the last 10, 15 years. So yeah, phenomenal movie. How did you and the long suffering want to score this one?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm going to be the same because, I don't go for 5 stars. The highest I go is or buckets. It's like unless it's exceptionally well. The highest I go is with the bag of popcorn, but I'm not even going to put the bag of popcorn in because of some of the stuff we're talking about. But I want to go with a 4 because, like you said, it's underrated. This is like your B film, but polished, making fun of these different things. Texas Chainsaw Horror with the good old boys, maybe even a little Deliverance added in there. You can squeal like a pig. Um, you know, all that stuff, and of course the budding romance that we get through the film. This just turns everything upside down. It's surrealistic, just like the other one, but it's surrealistic in the sense that, like the wife said, it's like Three's Company, and but there's blood and guts and gore, and a
Mhm.
lot of good laughs, and the foreshadowings. If you're quick enough to catch that stuff, realizing that everything's in play, it's like you can't wait to see how they do the scene. It's not if they're going to do it, they're going to do it, but how it's going to get played out. You're wanting to see the punchline. And that adds even more because they're taking all those tropes and turning them upside down. So for me, there was no surprises. The surprise I was looking for is, what's the aftermath? How does it play out? How do these two react to it? And being that there's simple good old boys. And that for me is what I enjoyed the most. And the wood chipper scene.
I I I really do agree,
I,
and this is so there's a group of films they do for kids every summer. It's like these dollar movies. They still do dollar movies for kids during the summer, like Tuesdays
wow.
or something, things like that. And I really wish, and I know this is asking a lot of these people, um, probably not going to get discounted tickets, but bring these back for
hmm
like the Fridays in October at least, right?
Right.
Bring back Tucker and Dale and see the cult people come out. And, we talked about Long Dead, the cult experience of like Rocky Horror and heavy metal, that we don't have some of that. But this is the
Yeah.
kind of movie that could bring that back. This is the kind of movie that if you had Tucker and Dale nights, people would dress up and they'd have fun. They would have some
hmm
laughs. They would you would leave in the, we try to stay away from really spoiling this if you've never seen it because there's
Yeah.
so much going on that
hmm
you're just gonna have a great time. Everything about this movie is top notch. They do a great job. Performances are great. You're gonna hate characters. You're gonna love characters. You're gonna laugh at some. You're gonna just like the absurdist is there. You've got a little bit of everything to make it work. And I'm totally with Baron on that. 4 out of 5 for me as well.
hmm
And if you haven't seen it, like I said, it was free on Tubi when we did this recording. Hopefully, you can catch it for next to nothing. It is super fun, and like I said, I'd love to see this end up back in theaters again to
Oh yeah.
get it in front of some other people. It's pretty clean.
Yeah.
There's some boobs in the background and there's skinny dipping scene, but not up close.
Mm. Yeah.
There's just the blood and guts elements of stuff, but it's
hmm
almost like absurd blood and guts rather than actually gross you out. So it doesn't
Right.
even have like slasher realism or like, Mike Myers or Jason kind of stuff. It is not. It's almost like absurdist stuff like Final Destination. But on
hmm
Final Destination, it's more like the PG-13 version of that, even though it is still rated R blood and guts. It's just,
hmm
because it's played for laughs. It really
Right.
is. You're laughing at it of just the insanity of it all. So
Oh yeah.
a
I
lot
mean,
of fun. A lot of fun.
yeah. I mean, you can't help but love these two guys. It's like, yeah, it would be kind of nice to sit on the porch with a couple beers and just chawing about stuff. Uh, best wood chipper scene since Fargo. I mean,
Oh yeah,
the
yeah,
wood chipper scene.
100%.
I put this one as a 5 popcorn bucket for a wood chipper scene.
Oh, wood chipper
Fargo
scene is
being
five.
about
Is
a
five.
4.
Five. Yeah, I never thought
Anytime you
the
get that
Fargo wood
put
chipper
in there, but
scene.
yeah, just like you said, the
Yeah.
gore or whatever, the blood is not over the top.
Right. Oh, I lost Baron for a minute there. Hopefully he can come right back. We'll get that figured out for you guys. Here he goes.
Okay, I must have had a burp.
All
My
right, not over the
apologies.
top. Go ahead. You're fine.
But yeah, I mean, with that over the top, so it's just yeah, it's if you haven't seen, you're right. This should be like that Friday, midnight, 11 o'clock midnight uh, film. And, start doing a bunch of those. Every different Friday, you got a different film, and of course making sure this is on there. Oh yeah, you probably start bringing people in droves because you know this does what no other quote unquote slasher horror comedy parody or whatever you want to call it does. It's actually you got to think you're entertained. Uh, any eye rolls you have is actually at the characters. Like the teenagers, that is. It's like, oh god, you're gonna do that, you moron. Or you're thinking it's like but you do the eye roll with a chuckle. It's not the eye
Yeah, I was gonna
roll of
say,
the
you
of
you
that.
eye roll early in the movie. You eye roll early in the movie because you feel like they're just gonna be an insufferable bunch of teen nitwits,
Hmm.
and then later, you don't really have the eye roll in the same way because now you're just
Yeah.
laughing at their stupidity. Because now they
Right.
are just they're just cannon fodder for the insanity of the movie. The eye
Right.
roll for me comes a little bit at the end with the drama surrounding the kid, but
Hmm.
again, that was really
Yeah.
minor in the grand scheme of things. So yeah,
Right.
a lot of fun, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'll make
Yeah.
sure
It's
the link
almost
is there.
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
It's almost like the Scooby Doo when they take the mask.
Oh, I think you froze up on me, Baron.
This old man.
All right, let's try again. It's kind of like Scooby Doo.
Yeah. It's kind of like Scooby Doo. I mean, you go out there and you're pulling the mask. This old man Jenkins at the end is like, you're a half hillbilly. All you needed was Maury Povich to come out and say, "You are the father." Uh, I mean, I'm glad
Yeah,
they made
I
the
think at
combination.
the end, so there's a little teaser at the beginning of the movie, which makes no sense. I really don't know why they did that. That's probably the worst thing of the movie. They should have just
Hmm.
had it as almost like a stinger. We just didn't really have stingers yet. Marvel had their little thing that they were starting to do, but people
Hmm.
didn't put the stingers at the end very often. Ferris Bueller's kind of the exception to the rule kind of thing. But that
Hmm.
would have worked better as a stinger. But it also going to make you kind of sad because they don't need to do another movie, but it kind of was setting things up for you to have another movie. But all in
Hmm.
all, I'll put the link there for folks to listen to the talk hard on this. We get a lot more into spoilers, a lot more details into stuff, a lot more than that. But I wanted to highlight this and bring another person to the foray. Baron and his wife
Corrupted.
can now say they've seen it. Now they can go out and share it to other people who haven't seen it and keep the word going because that's the only way to get a movie cult is word of mouth. And this is one that deserves it for
Oh yeah,
sure. So
yeah. Pops
uh,
has corrupted us people, and we're going to spread the corruption.
that's my role. My work here is done. My work
Your
here
work
is
here
done.
is
So,
done. You did a damn good job. Bravo,
all right.
bravo.
Well, a great sort of epilogue to the old Poptoberfest. It basically feels like it's in the same vein. But we'll be back doing some. Well, I think it's more fantasy stuff coming up next. We'll do some
Hmm.
retro stuff there. We'll be hitting that and coming back to you guys with that here soon. So make
Yeah.
sure you check out the links there and all the stuff with Baron. Make sure you check out what he's doing, what he's working on, and he'll be back with me, folks. You guys take care. Thanks for watching, and till next time, I'm Pops.